I cannot believe 3 months have already passed and it's time for us to say goodbye to the iQube. I've really enjoyed my time on it. It's a typical TVS in terms of the riding dynamics, in terms of the way the brakes work, the way the suspension works. There are no surprises there. You have good sticky rubber, you have really potent brakes, you have suspension that works very well. You also have really practical stuff like a flat floorboard, which comes really handy for you to carry your luggage. You also get a parking brake seat, which is very well padded. And then of course you have the battery. I think that's the ace when it comes to the iQube, because it definitely delivers. It doesn't overpromise. Whatever it tells you is the exact range that you get. So in the eco mode, which is again not bad at all, you can still get around fairly well around in the city. Enough juice for quick overtakes, which will still give you a range of about 100 odd kilometers. And in the power mode, you get about 70 kilometers. And there's barely any variation. I mean, irrespective of how I rode it, unlike the Ola, this one consistently gave us the expected range with a minimum difference of only about 3 to 4 kilometers, which is very impressive. We have not had any problems in terms of the battery suddenly overheating or suddenly switching to a lower power mode. No technical issues either. But then there are also a lot of things which I feel TVS can do better, especially with their upcoming ST model, starting with the design. I mean, there's not much wrong with it. It looks very much like a conventional scooter, and therein lies my disappointment, because I feel after looking at what TVS did with the RR310, we know what they're capable of in terms of design. This one looks still very much like the Jupiter, yeah, with a few changes here and there. So I feel they could have done a lot better on that front. Also, in terms of the plastic quality, I have to say I'm a little bit disappointed, because it's not what you expect from TVS, like how flimsy the key is, how flimsy this hook is. Even the switches right here, you have to press the indicator button a couple of times to get it to stop indicating. So those are things which I expected or took it for granted that would be great on the S. Next, you have the boot space. You only have 17 liters, which is not really a whole lot, especially when you consider that most of it is occupied by the big bulky Charger. Even though I'm really impressed with the ride quality on this, it's very plush. I think it's a little too plush. So when you start going really fast, over 80 kilometers an hour, then the stability is compromised a little bit, especially at higher speeds, because the suspension is a little too soft and the vehicle doesn't feel as stable at higher speeds. So maybe a little bit of tweaking in terms of the balance, in terms of sportiness and ride quality would be better. And also in terms of the battery, even though it's very robust, there is no fast charging option, and especially now when it's competing with the Aethers and the Ola, it's a little bit limited. Next, when it comes to the ergonomics, this again feels very much like a conventional scooter. For a big guy like me, it feels a tad cramped. I would like it to be a little more spacious so I can sit on it comfortably. The only way I can be comfortable on it is if I'm scooting a little more back, which obviously compromises the pillion comfort. But to be honest, all of these things I can still live with. The one problem which TVS really needs to look into is the way the regen kicks in on the S. It's a little too aggressive. Now, I for one don't mind a little more regen, because it acts kind of like engine braking on your IC motors. The problem here is it's too excessive, to the point where as soon as you roll off the throttle, the rate of deceleration is so much that I'm almost scared that I'm going to get rear-ended. Even if you, after rolling off the gas, crack it open to prevent the scooter from decelerating too quickly. Until the regen cycle is complete, it doesn't even accelerate even after you get on the gas. So that calibration definitely needs to be looked into, while at the same time still benefiting from getting your battery charged a little bit with the higher regen that you have at your disposal. At the end of these 3 months overall, and especially taking into account the fact that the FAME subsidy too has been revised and all the electric scooters have now become at least 17 to 20,000 rupees dearer, I still think the iQube S presents a very good option for a lot of people who want to upgrade their normal scooters to an electric one. It's proven to be very, very reliable, which is a key component here, especially in this new electric space. For the elderly gentleman, this will come across as very unintimidating because it has the dimensions, the proportion and the way it rides very similar to a traditional scooter. Whereas for the younger folks, I feel yes, TVS needs to work a little bit harder, needs to give a bigger battery, fast charging as an option, a little more funkier design which can appeal to the younger audience to really get a piece of the pie which has so far been occupied by the Olas and the Aethers. But there you have it. That's my long-term report of the iQube S. Let us know what you think about it. And I, for one, cannot wait to finally get my hands on the iQube ST as and when it launches. Until then, ciao.